Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Hi, I'm Johnny Iannelli. I'm an artist, and I'm also a CTO of a podcast, the Freemind podcast.
Awesome. So, let's just talk more about your artwork. So, what exactly is your business? Like, what kind of art do you do?
Online, I'm more known for my sketch cards and trading cards. So I sell, what sketch cards are essentially baseball-sized cards that I sketch directly on and color and paint. So it's like a little mini piece of art. So those I sell online. Sometimes I sell like in a pop-up shop, but I also do lots of paintings too. And I like to incorporate a lot of pop culture, a lot of stuff that influenced me growing up. So like a lot of Ninja Turtle stuff, Simpsons, all kinds of cartoons from the 80s and 90s. I got a bunch all around me here.
So essentially, is that kind of like the main thing that you do besides your podcast is that you're making art and you're selling it online to people who are interested in the same sort of art that you're interested in?
Yeah, I'm also building connections with other artists as well. So I have Cowabunga Johnny LLC, which is basically my independent artist company. But within that, I do so much. Like I do art and collectibles, for instance. So I do trading cards, baseball cards, non-sports cards, sketch cards, for instance. But I also make custom trading cards. So like if you go to tradingcardmemories.com, that's a DBA off of my Cowabunga Johnny LLC. And I make all kinds of custom cards, even ones for newborns. I'm looking around to see if I have any. So like these ones are pretty popular. This is a newborn card.
Oh, wow.
So this is the front of the card, and
that's awesome.
Tots is my brand.
Mm-hmm.
And then so like they'll send me a piece. It's usually like the hospital beanie. They'll send me a piece of that, and I'll put it inside the card as like a memento. It's pretty neat idea. And older players too. They've like some of their dads have sent in like pieces of glove, and I'll put it inside a card for them. I also do artwork with my trading cards as well. So like, let's see. Here's a small example. So if you look closely, that's a Popeye trading card.
Right.
And so I painted a scene around it. The card reminded me of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. So I drew that scene in. So that's an example of how I incorporate trading cards into my art. But I also love to paint. I'll paint, besides pop art, street art style. I also do like abstract art, abstract animals. I'm like all over the place, to be honest with you. I'm really just exploring it a lot right now. I know what I'd like, but I'm seeing how far my talents go, essentially, in my skills. So to back up a little, I worked for Vanguard in IT for 16 years, right out of college. And I finally took the leap last year to quit and pursue entrepreneurship. So the art part was like always the plan. And then the podcast just kind of happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome. No, I love that. Like I used to collect baseball cards and jersey cards and stuff. Like,
yeah,
I love how you're making these like jersey cards for babies, and that's very unique.
Yeah, thank you.
So how do you go about like getting your products in front of people? Like, how do you market it, for a potential customer who might be interested in that kind of card for their child?
Yeah. So right off the bat, I made the decision to try to grow an online presence. Like I knew no matter what, eventually I would want that or need some part of that. And I love to learn. So it was like, all right, time to learn a whole new world of technology. And I love to optimize things. And I went from development up to architecture. So like I know web application building inside and out. So that kind of stuff's still fun for me, especially since I don't have to work to corporate. So how do I get it in front of people? So I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. I'm sure I'm missing one. And then I have my Squarespace website.
Twitter.
Etsy is, that's the big one. I've gotten most of my sales for that have been on Etsy.
Okay.
Yeah. But and Reddit too. So I'm an IT nerd, so I have like all the analytics hooked up and stuff. So I'm like watching the traffic, watching the purchases, where they're coming from. They come from everywhere. I've gotten people from Reddit, Facebook. One came from Discord. There's one other one, but like I can see they're it's not just one avenue. So that was what my goal was. And then locally I met these artists in Westchester that own a gallery, and I just hit it off with them. They happen to be making a similar style of art. A lot of the artist community there is like really welcoming, really exciting, vibrant. I was just hooked right away. So like they have a show usually every month, and ever since I joined them, I've been in like every show. I'm like, I got to be in the show.
So you're
Yeah.
saying basically kind of like all angles, right? Like the in person, there's posting on social media. Obviously, Etsy, people find you, but it's more so like kind of attacking things at every angle and seeing what
Even eBay.
sticks. eBay. Okay.
Yeah. Like, so for instance, I'll sell cards on eBay. I sell my products too on eBay too, but I'll sell like a Bryce Harper card or something like that. Every purchase, I'll throw in a trading card that I printed, and on it is a QR code and some fun stuff. Let's see. Okay. So like this is my Dick Tracy card. That's a piece of art that I did. I took a picture of it, turned it into like a trading card memento. And then on the back, there's like a little description of me, how I made it, little fun fact about Dick Tracy, then my QR code, fun fact about me, and a space for me to sign it. So, and every QR code on each design is different. So I got Popeye, I have Ninja Turtles, and Dick Tracy. So like I can also tell which ones are coming from which cards. So that's cool too. This is like, honestly, these things get a lot of attention
Right.
in public, and I mean, I just hand these out because you should see their faces sometimes when they look at these. Like they light up. They get so excited. They're like a little kid sometimes. I mean,
Right.
adults. And it's really neat to see. I definitely like to incorporate nostalgia in my art too. Like that's definitely a constant theme.
That's awesome. So obviously, nowadays many companies use AI and you have like a tech background. So do you incorporate AI at all into your business?
Absolutely. In fact, that was what really gave me the power to be like, all right, I'm out of Vanguard. When ChatGPT 3 came out, I guess, and I played around with it, like not only did I see the potential, I saw the potential going forward. And I remember actually, so I was still working there. I remember talking to my boss saying, like, we need to get this in here. We need to play around with it. We need to get, this technology in here. I could play with it in a lab. And I left the company, I think, about 5 or 6 months later, and they still hadn't had it. So I was like, I know it's a big corporation and there's a lot of hoops and a lot of contracts and stuff you got to sign. But it's like, that was one thing that was very frustrating to me. It's like, I really want to use new technology and you guys just keep telling me I can't. Like, this
Right.
is not fun for me. So I've been using AI for a lot of things, but mainly brainstorming. Like brainstorming is probably the number one use case, especially with my art. Like I'll have an idea and then it's almost like there's a friend in the room and I'm bouncing ideas off of them. And
Right.
like they might come back, well, what if you tried this? Well, what if you added this? And I'm like just, constantly evolving the idea until it's at a place where I'm like, whoa, all right, let's do this. I also learn a lot from it. Like I self-teach a lot. Like I've always been that way. And I always have like a hunger to learn. So, one of the things, it's funny, like people are like, what are you going to do all day? You're just going to sit around and, drink beer and go to the beach or something. And the truth is I work more than I did, like a lot more. And I
Right.
love it. I love it so much. Like I feel I'm doing something. I'm creating something.
Right.
And so it's like the passion is coming through me. People see it. They love it too. So it's been great. So I'm
That's
loving every
awesome.
minute of it. It hasn't even been a year yet. And I feel like I've accomplished so much more than I set off to do.
Hey y'all, it's Dan Melnick, the CEO of Zing, and I wanted to share a special offer for all of our listeners. Right now, if you need software development services, we'll give you 2 weeks of a free trial. Do you need to update your website? Do you want to build a mobile app? Do you want to update something that you've been working on for a long time? We've worked in a high-level technologies like AI, machine learning, blockchain. So shoot me a text, 817-874-2208. Thank you.
It's amazing. So what would you say is like the one biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew before you started this company?
Before I started the company, well, I mean, it would have been nice to know just the process of opening a company. I learned that literally as I went. But that's how I do it. That's actually how I learn best, is just doing it. That's what I tell people all the time. Like, they're like, well, I watched a YouTube video and I don't know. Well, just do it. Try it. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen, right?
Right.
So I kept doing that all my life, and that helped give me the confidence to essentially like do anything, like try anything. Not everything works out. I know it. But like a lot of times I can think of some really cool ideas. And working as the CTO on this podcast with Nate, who interviewed you on the Freemind podcast, is feeding me the tech needs that I was like desiring at my job. Like, I'm my own boss, which is nice. So I get to design the system the way I want to. And now I'm using AI and building a platform with it. And I don't want to talk too much about it.
Right.
But essentially, it's like a new content delivery system. I'm building it with our platform and our podcast in mind, but I'm expanding it and optimizing it and thinking of ways to make it agnostic and all kinds of things.
So without giving it out too much information, more than you can, if we're going to have this conversation again in 1 year from now, where do you see things going for your business?
So I see the Freemind company growing faster than my independent artist company. But most importantly, the network that we're growing, not only in Freemind, but like that we're growing locally in this community of Westchester, Exton. I mean, it's really something that, Nate says it a lot, everybody's hungry for that human connection again, but it's also like just like respect for one another, but collaborating, enjoying each other's work. It's one thing that was like really kind of shocking to me was that at the gallery, everybody's so supportive of one another. Like that, you don't have that in the corporate world. I don't know. What did you do before Zing? Did you, were you in the corporate world at all?
I was a consultant. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you get a mix of, and you don't know if people are being real with you or
It's true.
You're always playing the game.
Especially in consulting. Yeah. It's a very fake business.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm curious if somebody watching this wanted to reach out to you, do you mind sharing your website, social media handles, like the best ways to get in contact?
Yeah. So my website's cowabungajohnny.com. Instagram is at cowabunga_Johnny. Actually, just Google Cowabunga Johnny. That'll be the first one that comes up. And then if you're interested in my trading cards, my custom cards, that's tradingcardmemories.com. And then finally, Freemind Network. If you want to be a part of this amazing network, watch the podcast, support it. The Freemind Network podcast on YouTube. Yeah, it's really cool. We're interviewing all kinds of people like Dan, all kinds of founders, entrepreneurs. Yeah,
appreciate.
We're here. We're really interested in like what people went through to start their company before it all, and we're finding like a lot of really interesting stories.
For sure.
It's a good knowledge here. Yeah.
Yeah. The podcast, obviously our podcast, it's a great way to learn, about different people. There's always so much inspiring, everybody take out like a different stage, but it's very inspiring for sure.
Yeah. I think Andy Warhol's attributed to saying like one day everybody's going to have 15 minutes of fame. And like, that's what's happening now. Everybody's a creator now, or becoming a content creator. So it's like kind of happening, which is a little weird. But why I love podcasting is since it's so long form, the conversations tend to have to be authentic. It's like, unless it's an overproduced podcast, which you can tell, it's like, all right, well, he can't be lying for 3 hours. Hopefully you get a real good insight into that person. Exactly. But like, I think like where this is going is there's going to be a lot of these, what do they call them? Micro communities or micro
influencers.
Social media. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, Johnny, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah. Thanks, Dan. It's good talking to you.
Likewise. Thank you. All right. Bye.